This character originated in the Middle Ages. In Europe, there were many manors or local lords or even kings who controlled certain areas. During the Middle Ages, these lords could even have certain privileges. So what could these lords have? He could have the right of prima nocta, which means that within his manor he not only represented military power but also judicial authority, and he was the one who collected your taxes. It even went so far that if your daughter was getting married, her first night would have to be given to him under this so-called rite of the first night. Hello everyone, today we're going to introduce the Tian Fu Star. Previously we talked about the Zi Wei Star, and we also mentioned that in astrology, a person's inner values are divided into 14 types. Based on these 14 types, various combinations and arrangements are made, resulting in up to 60 variations, which are used to analyze a person's personality. And when we know that a person has this kind of personality, it's just like when we talk about the Zi Wei Star, which represents where each person's self-esteem lies. It is the place of one's dignity. If your self-esteem is in the position that represents emotions, then it means that for you, the place where you pursue self-esteem or dignity is in emotions. Or, if the Zi Wei Star is placed in the position representing career, if it's in the position related to your attitude toward money and how you use it, then it represents how you make and spend money, which will reflect your self-esteem. So, we often joke that if the Zi Wei Star is in the financial position, the wealth palace, you'll usually buy things that make people go, "Wow, that's impressive, that's beautiful." Similarly, if your Zi Wei Star is in the palace representing relationships, the spouse palace, then usually this person, He will also hope that his other half is someone others envy. For example, a man should be very successful in his career, or a woman should be beautiful. So what are we teaching today? Today we're going to talk about how everyone has something in their heart that they wish they could control. What is this star? This star is called the Tian Fu Star. In English, we use the word Lord. Why do we use this word? Because it originates from the Middle Ages, when in Europe there were many manors, local lords or kings who controlled their own territories. So during the Middle Ages, what kind of powers did these lords have? They even had the right of prima nocta, meaning that within their manor they represented military power, judicial authority, and they also collected taxes, all of which belonged to them. It even went so far that if your daughter was getting married, her first night would have to be given to the Lord as part of this so-called rite of the first night. Why did such a thing exist? Because it symbolized that on his land before all people and matters. All agricultural products belonged to him, so even your daughter's chastity was considered his property. In fact, when we were translating this term, we gave it a lot of thought because on certain levels, this word is a somewhat negative term. Because it implies that, well, in ancient times, there was such a thing as the right to a virgin, which doesn't sound very pleasant. By today's standards, it's not a very nice term. But in the end, after our discussion, we still use this word. Why? First of all, the political meaning of this word itself, or its status in ancient times, is actually somewhat similar to the meaning of the Chinese word innate, or natural born. Because in Zi Wei Shu, we regard a person as a small country. So when it comes to where your self-esteem lies, we define it as the emperor's star, and what the emperor cares about most is his honor and dignity. So we can see that, regardless of whether it's Chinese emperors or European emperors, when something happens, their concern for saving face surpasses everything else. Many emperors, in the end up with no money and still have to borrow from their brothers and sisters. Many European emperors, too, end up penniless and have to borrow from their vassals. That is, the lords, or even from their own people. Why? Because what the emperor cares about most is saving face. But comparatively speaking, what does the term Tian Fu represent in China? It represents a prince. And these two Chinese characters also signify that the state has granted you a piece of land, and within this land, you are a king. You have full jurisdiction over everything on that land. Isn't this concept basically the same as a lord in Europe? The only difference is that China doesn't have the so-called rite of the first night. But is that really true? In ancient times, if you were already the king of that land, if you wanted to find a woman from among the common people and sleep with her, you could still do it just the same. So even if there wasn't an explicit rite of the first night, in practice, the situation was the same as with those lords in Europe at the time. That's why actually it carries a bit of a negative connotation, so when translating into English, we still use this word. because it is actually very, very close to the real situation. Moreover, it is also very similar to the characteristics of this Xin Yao in so-called Du Shu. In other words, it represents something in your life that you absolutely must have control over. And in order to have that control, in order to prove that you can have that control, you might care less about the law or about many other things, or about saving face. You only care about one thing. This thing can be under your control. That's why I use the word load. So, what else does this Xin Yao represent? For example, if it appears in the position that represents your social or friendship relationships, it means that you want all your friends and acquaintances to be within your grasp. Now, how do you keep your friends under your control? Doesn't that require some clever thinking? Therefore, it is also seen as representing someone who is calculating or has some schemes in their heart. If it appears in the position related to money, it means that this person is not only talented, but also wants to have control over finances. If there is also a star entering the same position, it means that this person can excel at managing this aspect. So, if it is placed in the financial position, the wealth palace, and is accompanied by Lukun, it indicates that this person has excellent abilities in managing money. Having excellent financial management skills, does that mean he really knows how to use his money and is even very good at making money? So if this is in the position representing relationships, it would indicate that emotionally, if he feels he cannot control the relationship, then he won't want it. Therefore, the Tian Fu Star refers to, in ancient times, having one's own territory where one could be king. In the position I occupy, I would hope that within this domain, I am the king, and everything is under my control. I don't need to save face, I don't need a lot of flashy things, and I don't need others' praise. However, I need to clearly know that in this relationship or in this position, everything is under my control. That is what the Tian Fu Star is about. Of course, having control is great, but I want to have control, but if my skills at managing things aren't good, isn't that a problem? That's why, for the Tian Fu Star, it's very important that it is paired with the Lukun Star. When the Lukun Star is together with the main star, it will help the main star bring out its strengths. I want to have control, and when I'm paired with Lukun, my ability to manage things becomes much better. Finally, there's one more thing. We'll talk later about the so-called Sha stars that represent my subconscious. Because this Tian Fu Star represents my desire to be in control of everything. When I want to have control over everything, I tend to be relatively calm. And if you add Lukun, I have better skills in managing things. So if my Sha star is placed together with me, originally my subconscious might make me lose my rationality and act impulsively, but at this moment, because I want everything to be under my control, my subconscious can no longer influence me. I can even make use of my subconscious to create better things. Alright, so what we've just discussed are the characteristics of the Tian Fu Star. You can take a look at your own natal chart and see where your talents lie. Is there something you especially want to have control over? For example, if it's in the Tiantai Palace, is it related to family relationships? Or is it about your home environment, where you always want things to be under your control? Do you dislike unexpected or uncontrollable situations from happening?